Hey guys, Romie here. So this is the recap for Scream Season 2, Episode 6, Jeepers Creepers. And remember to please like, comment, subscribe. So the episode essentially starts off with Audrey, Brooke, and Noah. Brooke is having a moment to herself, and she's still taking the death, of course, the Jake very hard. So she's stabbing her mattress, pillows, everything to try to get her frustrations out. We see Noah. He's conflicted because while doing stuff for his podcast, he's also looking at Brooke's phone. And it's just like, not Brooke's phone, Audrey's phone. It's just like, Lord Jesus, what does this girl that I actually love, what is her involvement in all of this? Because he really can't trust anyone. In Audrey's training, she's getting, well, we'll not say training, but she's getting her frustrations out by kickboxing. I'm like, okay, Audrey, okay, I see you. But the killer has actually contacted Emma. And, because of Emma's state of mind, I was thinking, is this really the killer? Is this just all in her mind? Is she's the killer? No, that's too simple. That's too easy. No, that can't. No. But has anyone else actually seen the killer? Like, we know someone is clearly going around and killing people, and we know at the end of the day it's not Emma. But if they just put her out of a couple of extra scenes, it really could have been Emma the whole time. Honestly, if you think about it, because it's like, have we seen her in the kill? Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. But anyway, the killer calls her. So that confirms that, yeah, the killer was, I think he was at the school and he just hightailed it out of there before Emma could actually do anything. Or maybe, yeah, because he had to have been there and was just messing with her. So then she got really paranoid. There's just so much going on. So Kieran is there because he's trying to talk to Emma, but Emma's mom's just like, yeah, so she's not available right now. If you leave your name, number, and a brief message, I'll get back to you as soon as she wants to get back to you. But Emma goes, talks with Kieran, and it's just like, look, the whole him talking to the police officer was messed up, but at this point, she has this whole mindset of, we need to stick together. It's either we stick together or we get pulled apart. Oh yeah, and by the way, the killer has called me this morning. It's like, what do you mean called you this morning? It's like, yes, called me this morning. So he called you. So this isn't the first time. You see how this lack of trust? Yeah, which I'm thinking is kind of okay because I'm sorry, I can't be the only one, but I do not trust Kieran. I don't trust Kieran with the 10-foot pole. I don't trust him at all. Let me plug in my laptop. Yeah, so I don't trust Kieran at all. There's just something about him that screams, not trustworthy. So Emma goes over to Noah's place, and Noah has the door unlocked, and I thought it was interesting that he preferenced, like, sorry that the door's unlocked. I guess normally Noah has an open door policy or whatever. So Emma, long story short, wants to go and check out Noah's conspiracy board. And Noah's like, hold up. She's like, no, we're going to figure this out now. She pulls off the drape and realizes, why the hell's Audrey suspect number one? And Noah makes up this excuse of Audrey's been acting weird, with Stavo and just in general. So that's when Noah's like, look, if we don't band together, then what's the point of us being friends? What's the point of us? Look, this can't work out. So she gets a call from Brooke, and she goes over to Brooke's house. Now, Brooke has this whole issue of the Jake is dead. She's hurting from that. And like I said, she destroyed her mattress. Basically, her whole bedroom set. This isn't apparently the first time Brooke handles something like this that way. So it's just like, look, I got your back. I love you. We do need to stick together because this guy clearly is coming after us again. I don't know what the connection is, but I'll speak to you soon. I have to go and leave. Now, the Officer Miguel, he's talking to Brooke's father, and Officer Miguel's trying to act like, everything's well and good. Jake's phone, we have his phone, but we don't know what's going on because we can't unlock it. It's encrypted. Of course, in theory, it would be encrypted if it wasn't for the fact that an officer, when the Jake was dead, used his thumbprint to unlock the phone. That was smart, but that was shady. Officer Miguel, Sheriff Miguel, you are one shady. See, that's why Anyway, he goes and leaves. Brooke's overhearing all of this, and she has to devise a plan because she feels like Seth was in charge. Seth is the killer, or he at least has some type of involvement. Now, Noah is trying to tail Audrey. Audrey's not dumb. Audrey is paranoid already, so she's already trying to figure out where the killer is, who's the killer. So she goes, realize that Noah's tailing her, and Noah tries to make up this excuse like, oh yeah, so yeah, of course I was kind of following you, but then I wanted to go and get a bike. It was like, yeah, that bike over there, that's really good, I'm gonna go and test drive it. You want to go and see? No. And she was just like, yeah, I have other stuff to do. Now, Noah's trying to distract her because he needs to give Audrey her phone back. So he goes, slips the phone back into her bag, and that was that. Now, Audrey, of course, isn't dumb, so she knows he's acting weird. After that, we have Noah come back. Now preferences. Noah came back to Emma's house so that they can go and try to clear Audrey's name. Because it's like, okay, I don't necessarily think that it was Audrey, but we do need proof. And Emma right now, her antennas are up because it's like everyone is looking kind of shifty. Everyone's looking kind of shady. So what they're going to do is they're going to contact the guy who was running the hotel, the motel, and they're going to go and use him as an alibi. Did you see this girl? If no, that means that she's in the clear. If yes, it's like, oh crap, we're screwed. So Noah goes and sends out a text. And he's just like, you know, it takes this guy a moment to go and respond back. And the guy responds back quickly. As we know, he is dead. So, of course, it's the killer responding back. And the plan is to go and meet by, like, this abandoned carnival. That is the plan. And Emma, of course, is supposed to be going with him as well. Now, Brooke's father needs a drink. So he goes to the bar. Guess who's there? Kieran's aunt. She's there. And, you know, the mayor already knows about her, and so that's why he even entertained the thought of having a drink with her. And because originally they met when there was a lockdown at the school, but that wasn't on good terms. Now, Brooke wants to meet up with Savo because she needs to get more information on, she needs to get the file on Seth. She needs to know everything that essentially Savo's father has, period. So it's like, how quickly can you go and get the information? How discreetly? I really need your help. And Savo's loving it because he's interested in Brooke. So it's just like, why not? I can do it without any problem. They haven't had any issues with each other yet. Do I trust him? No. Do I? Because someone made a good point about this being them, maybe the killer trying to recreate like a movie and suspense and all of that. And Savo, we find out that that is kind of his intention, but we're gonna go from after that. And so Kieran is at the police office and police station. He's talking with Officer Miguel, and Officer Miguel, oh yeah, and Savo's there too. So Savo takes this opportunity to go and case his father's office. Now Kieran's whole thing is, look, I already agreed to work with you, and he gave the officer some like very arbitrary information, very negligible. So Officer Miguel, Sheriff Miguel is just like, so that's all you got for me? It's like, I would have thought that you would have wanted to make sure that nothing happened to Emma or you, just because of you possibly blaming yourself for not saying anything the first time, than having your father getting killed as a result. That was a little bit too much, Officer Miguel. A little bit too much. A little bit. So that was a little bit too much. And so Brooke is talking with, Salvo. And so Salvo's like, yeah, so here's the thing. Seth had Miss Lang have her as his alibi. They were supposed to be together for the whole night when the Jake went missing. So that's supposed to be the reason why he was cleared. But do you believe that? No. So Brooke was just like, look, and he was just like, yeah, but I have some advice for you. It was just like, yeah, I know. Yeah, and Brooke loves that because, well, because Salvo's whole mentality is no, kick some ass, go for it. And of course that positive reinforcement kind of reminds her, Salvo kind of reminds her of the Jake a little bit. But, you know, with a little bit more redeeming qualities. So she's appreciative, definitely appreciative. Now, while Audrey is at the phone store trying to get a new phone, she looks into her bag, probably to get her wallet or whatever, and she realizes she has her phone, so she doesn't need an upgrade. And now it goes into question, how did this phone get in here, even though I know not to let my bag out of my sight anymore due to the killer? Now, Noah is at, what's her name, Emma's house, and Emma tries to go and say, yeah, so tonight we're gonna... Nope! Emma's mom said, nope, we're not doing that tonight. Nothing is happening tonight. You are not leaving this house tonight. Do you get me? Do you understand? And of course, Noah's going to go anyway. But we're thinking, no, this is how people die. Noah, don't go. So, we have Salvo. He still has his cracked iPhone. I understand what it is, how it feels to have a cracked screen finally. Because I actually use my phone. Technically, it's the Samsung Galaxy S7. No, 7 Edge, and it fell a couple of months ago. It looks like art. I have to convince myself it looks like art, how it just, the whole screen cracked, and I can still use it, but I understand how it feels now. Anyway, I'm so pissed. So we have Audrey, who is looking at his iPad and saying to herself, okay, so this is... No, oh, this is a comic. Oh, okay, so you're weird, but you're not crazy. Oh, okay, this isn't much better, but alright, if you say so. And so Sal was just like, see, you know, this is interesting. I do have an infatuation with you guys in the whole situation, but it's not with the killer intent. You know, this is for artistic purposes. So she has to accept it for what it is, because at least as of now, Salvo isn't the main person that she has to worry about. But Brooke goes and talks with Miss Lang, and I keep wanting to call her Jessica Lang. With Miss Lang, Professor Lang, Teacher Lang, however you want to say it. And Brooke makes this sob story of how, you know, she was actually with another man the night that the Jake was killed, and it was actually with Seth, and how he came back into her life and they had sex, and she's so ashamed and she's embarrassed, and she was just like, you know, is that wrong? Is that wrong? We know that didn't happen, but if Miss Lang is lying about saying, oh, she's Seth's alibi, then that just put the nail in the coffin that, wait a minute, she really wasn't with Seth that night, and that things are up. And so Brooke now is doing phase 2 of her plan. She's inviting Seth to, I'm assuming, some hotel. We know it's going to be a hotel. So that she can go and get the plan in motion to really see if he killed the Jake or not. Even though we know if he was really the killer, she wouldn't be able to do all of that. But anyway, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. He still can have some type of weird, creepy involvement. But we have, what's his name? Kieran's aunt and Brooke's father. They're talking. And Brooke's father's just like, I'm not interested in you, sexual girl. You're from the other side of the tracks. I'm not interested in you. What I am interested in the fact is that I know a little bit about your history, and there's some off-the-books stuff that I need you to do. So I'm going to pay you some off-of-the-books money if you're willing to do it. So of course she's interested. Of course she's interested, because we know this woman is crooked. For whatever reason, Emma thought it was a good idea to go and sneak out. We know that these things work. Guess what happens? She sneaks out, she starts to drive, and then her car gets a flat tire. Her car magically gets a flat tire. I'm thinking either Kieran did it, either the killer did it, or her mom. Honestly, any of the three could have done it. Just because the killer could have thought, you know, it's not Emma's time to go and be knocked off yet. That's not what we're trying to do. It could have been Kieran to keep Emma home. It could have been, even though that wouldn't make sense, or it could have been her mom just to be like, no, I have to get some type of control of my daughter. Now, Noah gets the text message and he just decides to go in alone. I'm thinking, Noah, you know how this goes. Why would you, of all people, decide to go in there anyway? It doesn't make sense. Noah, it does not make... Noah. Noah goes in. He freaks out like anyone would come. Noah acts like if he was a viewer. So, and I appreciate that because he bugs out. It's just like, nope, this does not feel right. I'm going. I'm not about to be killed. This is not happening today. He goes back into his car. Nissan Cube. He goes back into his car. And so Noah... Someone goes from behind him in the back seat and knocks him out. Not physically knocks him out, but, you know, what's that the stuff called that knocks out people? Yeah, that was used on him. And I'm thinking, that can't be the killer. That person looked a little too small. Something's not right here. Something's not right here. So Brooke goes and tricks Seth, and she gets him into bed. Of course, she ties him up, handcuffs him, and so she does this sadistic interrogation, and the goal is to see if he's going to crack. If he really did it, you know, he'll eventually go and say it. Long story short, she has this knife. She's threatening his balls. She's threatening his throat. She's like, look, I know you did it. I know you're a creep. You know, your ex died. Well, technically his ex actually committed suicide. I think she was also another young girl that became infatuated with him, and then so when he wasn't interested anymore, he left her and she threatened to kill herself, and then she actually did. But he was just like, oh, no. And then she stops. She's like, okay, I will leave you. Enjoy your stay. And she leaves him tied up. I'm thinking, Brooke, why the hell did you do that? Lord, Brooke, why did you do that? Emma calls Kieran, and Kieran goes, fixes her tire, changes her tire, whatever have you. And so Kieran's just like, so what are you doing? Why are you purposely trying to get yourself killed? What's really going on? She's just like, nothing, babe. I'm sorry. I'm going to go home. Thank you. I love you, because she promised that she was going to go home. We know that that was BS, but, you know, she promises him. Kieran knows that, too. Come on now. Salvo has this, like, spine tattoo on his back, and they showed it to us, which we already know that if they're showing us something like that, that it'll play into something bigger later, unless we already missed it, unless I already missed it, but it'll come into play later. So he has his scream mask, and so Brooke comes in and he takes that mask off really quickly, hides it, and Brooke is just very appreciative because she realizes Seth Branson didn't do it, and she was just like, you know, I don't know who did, and it's just really messed up because it didn't make me feel any better. Now she goes, gives Salvo a hug. Salvo's consoling her. Again, Salvo just has this look of maybe he just wants the content for his comic book, and so that's why he wants Brooke to divulge all this information. I don't know. It's just weird. He's just weird. There is something crookedy about him. I don't know if he purposely brought the killer back himself. Oh, maybe that's it. Him, Eli, possibly working together, or maybe it's like a bunch of people reach out to the killer or a new killer, kind of like what Audrey did with Piper the first time. Speaking of Audrey is also somehow being held captive as well in this abandoned carnival with Noah. And so Noah's just like, I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. This is making for a terrible psycho movie. And there's a bunch of tools right by Noah. And so Noah was trying to get it, but he kicks it. I'm like, Noah, why would you kick? You should have lifted your leg and jolted your body so that you could go and get your foot wedged into the can. Anyway, so he kicks it. He's not able to get it out. Noah feels like it's time to start to confess. And so, well, actually, Emma comes into the scene. Emma comes in, and Emma realizes that something is off. she's like, she sees Noah's car, but she doesn't see Noah. She also doesn't have any reception, so it's not like she could really talk to Noah if she wanted to. She goes, yells for them, but they take so long to respond back that Emma already walks away. I'm like, running back. Now, Noah, thinking that they're gonna die, he starts divulging information. He's just like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I took your phone. I was the one who did it. You were acting kind of shifty, so I checked in on you. So I know about you being by the Jake's body and all of that. And of course, I've been following you and all of this stuff. And it's like, you know, you know how I feel about you, and I've always felt that way about you. And when we kissed, it just brought something out that was already deep inside me. And all of this was coming out. I was like, oh, poor baby Noah. Noah, stop talking now. Noah, stop talking. Because Audrey has something she has to tell you too. Because even though now Audrey knows... Because here's the thing. Audrey was the one that kidnapped Noah. She did it because she knew something was shifty was going on. That's why I said it didn't make sense that Audrey was there. It didn't feel like she was being held captive. It felt like she was acting. So, I was right. I was right when I was originally watching it. Because it just didn't feel authentic. What actually happened was Audrey kidnapped him because she wanted to put him in a scenario where he thought he was going to die. So that she can go and pump him for information to see what he actually knows. Now, the thing is that... Noah also talks about Audrey has something else to tell him. But because of the fact that Emma's there, she doesn't want to go and tell it to Emma yet. And that's the fact that she was the one that brought Piper to, brought Piper to Lakewood. I hope I didn't say Lakeland, because I really didn't mean to say Lakewood this time. But, Lakeland. Yeah, so... there was that, and then while Emma's still looking for them, trying to figure out, for him, trying to figure out what's going on, the killer's there. The killer's there, and that's why I'm like, damn. So, did the killer know that, was he following Emma, or was he following, what's his name, Noah? And, of course, also following Audrey, because Audrey was following Noah. No, Audrey goes and frees Noah because, like I said, she was the one that tied him up in the first place. And the killer's there. Next thing we know, Kieran is there. Kieran was following Emma. I'm thinking that makes enough sense, but the timing was just... See, I'm assuming maybe they just want us to think that Kieran is really shifty, but that nothing's actually going on. He's not the one... you know, doing the killings or whatever. But I don't know. Or maybe he could have brought it back so that it could bring him and Emma closer together. There's just something off with him. I don't care what anyone says. This is something off with Kieran. I just don't trust him. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I still don't trust Audrey. Even if she's being framed, I still don't trust her. But they all leave. And so Kieran is talking with them and saying, so you were supposed to trust me and you lied to me. So, what's that? And she was like, no, I didn't lie. I changed my mind. I didn't lie. I changed my mind. Okay, that sounds like what a guy would say. I'm like, you ain't slick. You're not slick. Anyway, so they agree that, she's just like, you know what? I'm sorry. You're right. I promise I'll do better. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you, Emma. I don't believe you. Don't believe him because there's something off with him. Again, they could just be making it so that his character looks shifty. Now, yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Next thing we know, Officer Miguel is looking at the case where he has all of this information on Emma and the killer, just all of this information. And we have Kieran who comes in. Kieran comes in because he's like, I have something to tell you. Say it with some bass. That's why I wanted to say. I'm like, I'm supposed to be so big and bad. Where's the bass in it? And as we know, he's going to go and snitch and divulge everything that's been going on. Now, Noah is visited by Audrey. Audrey comes because she knows she has something to tell him. Audrey goes and admits the fact that she was the one that invited Piper to Lakewood. She did it because she wanted to she felt very lonely, she felt angry, she felt confused. And Piper understood her. Piper seemed to accept her for who she was and what she liked and what she didn't like. So Audrey, felt like she had a friend, someone she could trust. And I'm like, oh, that's sad. You had Noah, but okay. And so that's why Piper came to Lakewood. But remember, Noah was actually recording his podcast, not live, but recording audio for his podcast, just testing 1 2 1 2 when Audrey came in. So he never stopped doing that. Audrey didn't realize it. Now I don't know if Noah did it on knowing Noah, he wouldn't do something like that by accident, but it was still being recorded, so he has that because Noah trusts her. Well, Noah still doesn't trust Audrey, so that was smart for him to do. I thought, okay, this was a little shady, but it was smart for him to do. Next thing we know, we see Seth Branson. Seth is visited by the killer. The killer is there, and the killer, that's what I'm trying to look at the killer's body type. Like, he looks kind of tall. Like, everyone on the show is relatively short, so I'm thinking he kind of looks like he's Kieran's height. Almost. That's why I'm like, something is really off here. So, the killer knows that, of course, Brooke was there, and that's why I'm thinking, but Professor Lang is also tall, so it could have been her, because she was pissed. It really could have been her, because she's just an odd character just to bring in. She almost feels like she was brought in, kind of like how Piper was brought in. But it could be multiple people helping. It's just so confusing. So next thing we know, the killer goes and cuts off Branson's hand. I think it was his right hand, and I'm like, wait, so the cuffs are still on? How is that possible? Anyway, so after the killer goes and cuts off his hand, then the killer gets the iron, because the killer plugged in the iron first. Gets that iron, it's already hot. Puts the iron on his cut hand. That's why I'm wondering, wow, that's kind of vengeful. Because the killer didn't go and straight up kill him. That's why I'm wondering if he's actually going to be dead, or if he's going to be just brutally injured. And that's why I'm thinking it could be Professor Lang. I've been saying this before, but now after that, it really has me thinking it could be her. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. It could be Starwood too, because he feels a certain way about Brooke as well. So